Hey guys, NarcArmor here. Want to talk to you today about how the narcissist seeks to utilize abuse tactics to alter your mental state. And effectively, what they really want to do is they want to dysregulate you in a manner and a fashion so that they can kind of break you down, leaving you susceptible to their manipulation tactics, right? So that they can have their way with you. See, guys, the way you got to think about a narcissist is they operate in a way that effectively is in sort of like this constant shopping mode, right? They are always looking for some sort of supply, some form of supply, whether it's an intimate partner, whether it's an actual thing that they want someone who has the financial means to say provide for them or purchase for them, and the list goes on. And so they'll utilize the manipulation tactics to kind of break you down, right? They want you to be dysregulated so that, in many respects, not only are you more easy to manipulate, but you're not necessarily really going to object, right? So there's this constant sort of push pull that the narcissist engages you on because they want to dysregulate you and affect your boundaries. So if you had any boundaries, chances are by the time you've gotten to the end of your narcissistic relationship, situationship, entanglement, whatever you want to call it, you are not necessarily going to have the firmest of boundaries, and you're going to need to, right, kind of work through reestablishing that. And we'll get into some of those things in future episodes, um, to really kind of help focus on reestablishing boundaries and the things that we need to do to get healthy and continue on our healing journey. But the narcissist wants you off kilter because the narcissist is always shopping for things that they want. And what they want out of you, if you are their primary source of supply, is effectively someone they can continue to go to transact with, right? Because as you know, all of these relationships, they're all transactional in nature, right? There's always got to be something in it for the narcissist, right? And they will give you kind of the future faking and other things to string you along and breadcrumb you, right? Or giving you kind of little tidbits here and there while they're off doing God knows what with God knows whom, right? But when they need something, better believe they're coming back to you as their primary source of supply to facilitate that transaction that they want to have fulfilled. And then they go back to, being, in and out and, and really kind of this mystery to you, right? If you're, attempting to be in a marriage or in some sort of long-standing relationship situationship. And while they deregulate you, they're essentially also banking on getting you to do things that, let's say, you wouldn't normally do. So, for example, if you were an individual who, maybe was, or is savvy with, their financial means, and maybe you're into planning and doing things for retirement, and, you know, not going outside of, what it is that you would normally look for in terms of, your living situation, kind of your means, right? Not living outside of your means, and taking on things that are extravagant. They're going to want you to kind of move away from that because, as you guys I'm sure already know, the narcissist is all about the optics, right? So they want the nice, extravagant car that, let's face it, on their own terms, they would probably never be able to afford, because they really don't work much or very hard for anything. Um, Again, they'll work at exploiting you to get your boundaries down to a place where maybe you wouldn't necessarily purchase an expensive vehicle, um, or that you wouldn't look to, buy, um, certain things, gifts, attire, accessories that are very expensive and and highly known name brand things that cost several thousands of dollars. But as they deregulate you, right, they get you in a state where they're constantly pushing this agenda on you, right, and indoctrinating you, and then they get you into this vicious cycle of the transaction ship, which is really what it is or was, because hopefully you're out of it by now. Hopefully you're on your healing journey, and hopefully you're in a place where, you're starting to see things for what they were, right, and what they are, and building up your boundaries and your armor, right, against toxic, narcissistic individuals like the one, let's say, that you were dealing with. But they'll get you to do these things that are really kind of completely out of the norm for you, right? And that you normally wouldn't necessarily do, because chances are you're an empath that they found, and more often than not, they set out a honeypot for you. And we are absolutely going to talk about that in one of the upcoming episodes. Um, but they wanted to kind of entrap you in this thing, right? And if they got you into a marital situation, you were legally married, moreover, you got entangled with them in the web, in the manner and fashion in which they wanted. And if you had kids and your children, other things that just complicate matters from a life and living situation point of view, again, that's sort of the flavor of of some of the things that they do to get you entangled into their web and really kind of lock you in for this long-term abuse cycle, this long-term transactional exploitation to get things out of you, right? And to have you serve as their ATM and bank, right? And emotional punching bag and anything and everything in between, okay? Until hopefully, God, your higher power, helped you have an awakening and realize that, what's going on was never really a meaningful relationship based on the fundamentals of love and caring, compassion, sincerity, nurturing, and empathy. Okay, so this deregulation then also puts you in a bit of a fight or flight situation in terms of how you navigate your day to day. And for many of us, myself included, you might have even suffered from autoimmune disorders or things that just happened to you where you had like these mystery illnesses and things. Well, the reality is that your body was really trying to tell you that things were not quite up to par, but rather what you really needed, right, was to get out of that situation, and to get that mental clarity, really, in order to kind of refocus, more importantly, reflect. And again, for those of you, if you're finding this, and I hope this reaches folks who really need to hear this message, because when you're on the other side of this thing and you're starting off, or you're somewhere midstream, or even you're well into your healing journey, your body is also going to heal along with your mental and emotional state. Okay? From this deregulation, and it's literally like, it's literally like being stuck in the ring, and just going round after round, in this never-ending bout with the narcissist for the duration that you were in that situationship. So, some people, autoimmune disease like vitiligo or other things that can happen, or, just having blotches on the skin, just any other types of strange, maybe I'll say abnormal ailments that you had suffered, is just your way of your body trying to manage the constant stress that it was under in the duration of your situationship. And so if you're out of this thing, then you're fortunate that your body now is moving from a dysregulated state back into normalcy and regulated state, and where you can also have the opportunity to kind of reflect on some of the things that um, we all partook in these situations, and to really kind of define what do we need to work on in terms of our boundaries. How do we need to interact with people? What's acceptable? What's tolerable in any relationship form? And to set the conviction needed to really uphold those boundaries, and armor up. Right? We want to armor up our defenses and set those boundaries and be intentional about how we move and who we engage with and how we engage with others. So I hope this video has helped you. I'm really looking forward to many, many more episodes here on the NarcArmor channel to help share experiences and learnings, and to help empower you to, rework your boundary setting and your understanding of what it was you lived through, because it wasn't normal, and what it is that you can do to make sure that you don't have to encounter this type of situation again, whether it's in a relationship situation, or just friendships, etc. Right? To make sure that you're living a well balanced life, and that you're protecting yourself and doing what's best for your health and overall well being. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next episode, and remember, armor up. Until next time.